So stay with us here on TVC Breakfast. It's not time to take a look at what the newspapers are saying this morning. Now, the first with me is the Nation newspaper. Tinubu, Lula, Jinping, Ramaphosa, others join forces to battle hunger. President, these goals are at the core of Nigeria's development agenda. Work begins on Calabar-Abuja Superhighway. Ex-BPP director testifies against Sirika in alleged 2.7 billion naira contract fraud. Above the masthead, Shettima joined senators to pay Ifeanyi Ubah final tributes. ICPC tracks 610 billion naira constituency projects in 21 states. FCT. Daily Independent is next. Tinubu seeks National Assembly nod to borrow fresh 1.767 trillion naira loan. Wants approval for 2025 to 2027 MTEV and FSP. Urges amendment to Social Investment Program Act. Tompolo accuses Navy sabotaging efforts to combat oil theft. North development key to Nigeria's prosperity, says Tinubu. Federal government begins Mpox vaccination in 7 states. FCT. And then above the nameplate, CBN warns on fake SWIFT messages, vows to prosecute claimants. On the bottom strip, creative art, technology and new Nigeria's crude oil, says Sanwo-Olu. Blueprint is next. Senate seeks expeditious action for Tinubu's 1.77 trillion naira loan request. President transmits 2025-2027 MTEF, FSP to National Assembly. Military remains guardian of Nigeria's unity, democracy, IBB Abdulsalami, others. ICPC tracks 610 billion naira project in 22 states, NDDC, NEDC, others to follow. And then above the nameplate, increased tax revenue collection will reduce Nigeria's debt burden, FRS. And on the bottom strip, Shettima, Akpabio, senators pour tribute on late lawmaker Ubah. Next is Nigerian News Direct. 2025 budget. Tinubu seeks fresh 2.2 billion naira loan approval from National Assembly as economists recommend review of 2025 budget deficit. Oil price benchmark. You see that on page 7 of the newspaper. Why repairs on Port Harcourt refinery is yet to be completed. NNPC Limited talking there. Zulum, Oga, others confirm participation in News Direct Awards. No monies missing in cabotage vessel financing fund, NIMASA. Nigeria must diversify exports to avoid falling into economic instability again. Sanwo-Olu. Osun government demands arrest of police officer over attempted murder of transport official. That's about it for the Nigerian News Direct. Next is Nigerian Tribune. Tinubu writes National Assembly seeks approval to borrow 1.77 trillion naira, transmits 2025 to 2027 medium-term expenditure framework, fiscal policy paper. Ondo election. PDP candidates reject results, heads to tribunal. Company Sirika approved for Katsina Airport contract, not qualified. Witness. Oyebanji, Wike approves 70,000 naira minimum wage for Ekiti FCT workers. Appeal court upholds 30 million naira damages against Ondo government. Amotekun. Nigerian Economic Society calls for a rework of proposed 47.18 trillion naira 2025 budget. Next is this Nigeria. $20 billion spent on Nigeria's refinery must be accounted for. CSOs tell NNPC. ICPC monitors 610 billion naira ongoing constituency projects in 21 states. FCT. Next is Leadership newspaper. CSOs, experts kick against 1.767 trillion naira loan request. Tompolo alleges complicity in oil theft as Navy defends self. Terrorist attack soldiers in Borno, many feared dead. And the Punch newspaper is next. PDP crisis. Damagum to remain chair as NWC. State chairman Meade. Pro-Wike governors insist on keeping Damagum till October 2025 as NEC. And tributes a Senate holds valedictory session for late Ubah. Olamide.
Well, I'm here with the New Telegraph, and the big story here is on drug trafficking. 10 Nigerians, 90 other foreigners executed in Saudi Arabia. That's a report from Amnesty International. Says the highest number of foreigners executed in the kingdom's history. Court orders the federal government to return Nigerians imprisoned in Ethiopia. Nigeria's debt burden to hit 123.437 trillion naira as Tinubu seeks 1.767 trillion naira loan. Demands NAS endorsement of 2025 to 2027 transmits social investment bill for passage. Asks the Senate to confirm INEC commissioners. Nigeria working towards achieving net zero emissions by 2060, Tinubu says at COP29. I will pay FCTA workers 70,000 naira minimum wage, 3 months arrears, while we are constructing new roads in satellite towns. That's the FCT minister there. PDP candidate Ajayi rejects a result heads to tribunal. We are losing our husbands' brothers to court killings, Edo women laments. Some stories on the front page of the New Telegraph to Daily Trust. Traditional rulers not afraid of governors. Sultan says no projects greater than educating youth. Our safety rests on their empowerment. Shatima responds. Latest must emulate Sudan's leadership strategy. That's according to the ex-Niger governor. Nigeria's debt profile to hit 138 trillion naira as Tinubu seeks 1.8 trillion naira. 5 soldiers, 30 terrorists killed as Boko Haram attacks troops in Borno. 13 months after, Tinubu yet to appoint ambassadors. Some stories on the front page of the Daily Trust to the Platform Times. The big story here says Nigeria's population may hit 450 million by 2050. Family planning expert warn. The vice president, in a picture story here, is being joined by his former colleagues at the Senate in paying tribute to the late Senator Ifeanyi Uba. Tinubu's media team lacks direction, says Show Me. ICPC begins tracking of 610 billion naira projects across 22 states. And next is the Daily Times. INEC promotes 1,731 staff. Reinforces commitment to career developments. Tinubu submits 2025 budget to National Assembly for approval. Tinubu also seeks Senate approval for 1.767 trillion naira external borrowing plan. Senate raises alarm as Auditor General's report uncovers 105.6 billion naira fraud in MDAs. Next is The Guardian. On 2025 appropriation bill, fiscal hurdle awaits 47.9 trillion naira budget. MDA's mobilization capacity. Tinubu warns of unrest as Zulum decries IDP camp polygamy. Ajayi rejects result in Ondo State vows to take legal action. Food insecurity threatens Nigeria's stability. Future, says minister. Finally, Tumpolo accuses the Navy of aiding oil thieves. Some stories on the front page of The Guardian to the Matrix. DHQ, Defense Headquarters, confirms death of 5 soldiers. That's a fresh terrorist attack. The attack is a painful reminder of carelessness of Boko Haram insurgents. Zulum says, terrorists ambushed the NSCDC team, 7 officials missing. Troops, armed forces of Nigeria shall not be deterred. The Defense Headquarters is responding to that. As G20 membership continues to elude Nigeria, South Africa takes over leadership of the bloc to prioritize inclusive economic growth, industrialization, employment orders. Tinubu nominates 3 INEC commissioners for Senate approval. Next is the Nature News. AUGCF launched $260 million water investment fund for African countries. Nigerian president reaffirms commitment to global climate action at the COP29. UNICEF celebrates Kano State open defecation-free milestone. DRC suffers power outages as plastic waste blocks major hydroelectric dam. And finally, in sport and life, Osimhen opts to stay on the Galatasaray contract on the 2026 World Cup qualifier match 2025. Rwanda will beat Nigeria against specular boast unpaid bonuses, allowances. Diko Olopade assure Eagles of payments. They have also promised 2026 World Cup special package. And after AFCON ticket with Benin rep, Libyan police officer beats up roar. Guardiola agrees new year, 1 year contract at Man City. The major stories on the front page of the newspaper this morning, Ibrahim.
Well, that's about it for the newspapers up for review this morning, and it's good that we've done so much to update our viewers this morning. Just stay with us here on TVC Breakfast. We'll take a breather and then